What is up, you guys, and welcome to the first video of 2022. I can't believe it's 2022. Where the hell did 2021 go? It's just crazy. Time is flying by. 2021 was such an exciting and sad year for me. I had so many ups and downs in 2021. Obviously having lost both my grandparents, and then there was some other kind of behind the scenes things going on that were just heartbreaking as well. But I had major ups, obviously welcoming my beautiful son into the world and just exciting things that a new baby brings. And I know people tell you all the time it's the most amazing thing ever, but until you've actually been through it, you don't really know what people are talking about because it's just words. Feeling it is completely different. But it has been just an amazing and sad year. So I hope that your 2021 was good, and if it wasn't, I really hope that 2022 is a better year for you. I have some majorly exciting things happening in 2022, and I will talk to you more about that when the time is right. I hate people who say things like that, but it's just not the right time to talk about it, but I will when the time is right, and I cannot wait to share some exciting news with you guys as well. So let's get into today's video. I do my whole roundup of my drugstore favorites, high-end favorites, favorite palettes of the year, and then a couple of misses and miscellaneous favorites. I know the miscellaneous favorites are definitely not everybody's favorite kind of video to watch, but I like throwing them in because I talk about podcasts and Audible books that I've listened to and kind of other things that I've found really, really helpful and just good in a particular year. Let's get into my favorite drugstore products of 2021. I have a whole H&M bag here full of all the makeup products. I literally threw everything in. I want to start with face products. I'm going to talk about a setting spray that I really, really have liked, and this one is from Essence. It's the Hello Good Stuff 3-in-1 face mist. And also, if I keep saying this year, you know I mean 2021. This has definitely been my favorite face mist from a drugstore brand. I really, really enjoyed it. I love the smell of it. I know a lot of people have said that they don't enjoy the smell. I really like it, and for me to go through that much of a face mist is actually kind of a miracle because I have literally about 6 of them on the go at the moment. I have so many on the go. I don't know why. I just keep purchasing them, or I get sent some in PR and I'm like, I really want to try that out, and it just ends up being so many on the go. But this one is really great. I'm actually going to try and use it up this month. I probably won't repurchase it just because I have so many on the go for this in colder months or when my skin is looking a little bit more dry. So if you do want it to set your face, I wouldn't recommend it for that purpose. But if you wanted just to kind of make your face look a bit dewy, actually what I'm trying to say is I recommend this more for drier skin, or if your skin is feeling dry and you just want a mist of hydration. This is probably one of my favorite finds, probably the best find of 2021, and it is from XX Revolution. This is called their Satin Booster, and I have the shade Blaze. I picked this up late in the year, so I ended up getting a lighter shade, but I definitely think I'm going to get the next shade up for when I get a little bit more tanned in the summer. This is obviously the palest that my skin is going to get, and this kind of matches me perfect this time of the year, but when I'm darker in the summer, this is not going to match. So what is this, you ask? If you love the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter, but you just don't like the price tag, then pick this up. I got it for €12 on sale on ASOS. I think it's on Beauty Bay as well, but I just picked it up on ASOS, and it is this skin illuminating product. Again, I mentioned previously just about my skin looking a little bit drier in the winter months, and also I just find that my skin was looking a little bit flat and dull. This is absolutely incredible, and like I said, it's on a par with the Charlotte Tilbury, the Hollywood Flawless Filter. This isn't glittery, it's just a really glowy formula. Sometimes I wear this alone, or I wear this under a foundation, especially if the foundation is a little bit more of a matte finish. I have it on underneath the foundation I'm wearing today, the True Skin from Catrice. I will talk a little bit more about that in a minute, but I really, really enjoyed this product. I just think it is so gorgeous on the skin. I just think it gives your skin this really lovely luminous glow, and it doesn't look glittery. It doesn't look too shimmery on the skin, and I recommend this for oily to dry skin. I have oily skin predominantly, but I do tend to get a little bit dry in the winter months, not to the extent where my skin is taut. The only time that ever happened was when I was pregnant. My skin completely went through some sort of I don't know, massive change in the first trimester. But this is a really great product just to make your skin look glowy, fresh, youthful. I love it under foundations, particularly a matte one, and I love it on its own. It's a great product if you want something like the Hollywood Flawless Filter but you don't want to pay the price. Next up, kind of similar to that, is from Lacura. It's a Snapshot Ready Radiance Primer. I was using this instead of my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. I thought that this looked so sensational on my skin, but since discovering the XX Revolution, I haven't picked it up quite as much, but it has that tint to it as well that just gives your skin this gorgeous radiance. I cannot describe how beautiful this is as a primer. Like, it's so gorgeous. I feel like it's supposed to be a dupe for the Smashbox, but I feel like it's quite similar to that, or a dupe for it. I love the Radiance one. There's also a luminous one that's really, really nice as well, and then there's like a matte one, which again, they're great. So if you do see these in your local Aldi, pick them up because they fly off the shelf. I've been trying to get this since I purchased it initially because, as you can see, I'm almost all out, and I think I'm just going to replace it with the XX Revolution till I can pick that up again because I really love it, and I just love having it in my collection. I love the way it just makes my skin look really luminous, and again, I wear that on my own, particularly in the summer months when my skin is a little bit more tanned. I find that just gorgeous, just to add a luminosity to my skin. This I found in March, I believe, and it is from Revolution. This is the Super Dewy Perfecting Putty Primer. I really like this Super Dewy line. It's supposed to make your skin look dewy and fresh, radiant and youthful, and I really like this primer. I kind of stopped using it when I discovered the Lacura one, but I do use it still. The only place that I really kind of focus this primer is over my nose and just kind of here, which is mostly where I have like enlarged pores, and I just feel like this fills in the pores, and then my foundation sits on top. It's not too mattifying because I do find that some of these primers can be a little bit almost drying on the skin, but I love this. I featured the e.l.f. primer last year, which is very, very similar to this, but I do prefer this one. I think I like the formula a little bit better than the e.l.f. one, and it's super affordable as well, like the e.l.f. one, but I just prefer that one. I have 3 foundations I want to talk about, so I may as well start off with the one that I already mentioned, which is the True Skin. I know I featured this last year and I don't really care. I know that I kind of have a rule that I want to only feature new favorites of the year, but this has been such an outstanding favorite again for 2021. I couldn't not mention it. There's no point in not mentioning how much I love this. I went through a bottle of this. It is not like me to finish any foundation. The only one that I ever really finish is my Estee Lauder Double Wear. I never ever finish foundations because I have so many in my collection. I end up decluttering them before I finish them. I know that sounds so wasteful, but it is what it is. This is described as a hydrating foundation with hyaluronic acid. I don't find this to be like too much of a glowy foundation, even though it says hydrating. Normally I would stay well clear of that, but I find that this is really mattifying on my skin. Also, I really want to apologize about the lighting situation. The light might change throughout this video because I'm filming later in the day than I prefer, but yeah, it's just because it's Noah's nap time, and normally I would like to film really early in the morning, but he's very active at that time, so yeah, apologies for that. But I digress. This is one of my favorite foundations and I've loved it for so long. I actually think this is one of the best foundations that Catrice has ever come out with. I know a lot of people love the HD foundation. I personally prefer this one. I would pick this over the HD any day, and it is super affordable. I think it's like €7. It looks like a high-end foundation on my skin. It wears really, really, really long. It's mask proof, which is very rare these days. Kind of like any foundation kind of struggles with masks, and I mean, they are a way of the future. So yeah, this is like my go-to, especially for the price. It's so affordable and it just lasts really long, and I really like the effect of it on my skin, and I like how fresh it looks and youthful, but while still being full coverage. And I'm not always about a full coverage life, but if I am going for full coverage foundation, this is definitely the one that I will be picking up. I find it weird that I have like no dewy foundations in this, but it's just because I've mentioned them before and they're my failsafe, and I go back to them time and time again. Like the Maybelline Urban Dream Cover, that is like my favorite foundation. I absolutely love that. And my It Cosmetics CC Cream, and they're like failsafes, and I will use them year and year again. But another foundation I want to mention that is again kind of like a full coverage foundation. I did a full wear test on this, and I'll leave it linked down below. I did it on all these foundations, so if you want to watch any of the reviews on that or wear tests, like I said, we'll leave them linked below. But this is the Stay All Day 16-hour foundation from Essence. I know that I've mentioned this before in years gone by, that it was really badly formulated. It ended up looking kind of orange on your skin, and it had this really weird consistency. It was almost like moussey. I hated it. But they've reformulated it and brought it back out, and it is such a good foundation. I got the shade 10 Soft Beige in this. The shade that I wear in the Catrice one is 46 Natural Toffee, and I find that the 10 Soft Beige is probably the best match for me in this. I wore it during the summer months quite a lot. I haven't been wearing it as much lately because I've just been going back to the Catrice one. I cannot put it down. I just love it so much. But this is a great foundation for the price. I think it's like €4 or €5. The only kind of downside to it, and I mentioned that in the wear test, is the shade selection is crap. I don't understand why there's like 6 shades. Like, there's way more skin colors and tones in the world. I just don't get it. I don't think that they're going to branch out on this line for some reason. I just get that kind of impression. Whereas I know with the Catrice one, they have a ton of shades and lots of different undertones. So if you are looking for kind of a little bit more of an inclusive foundation, I wouldn't say like it's overly inclusive, but it is a little bit better on the spectrum of colors, then I would go with the Catrice one. But if you can find your shade in this, then definitely give it a go and just see what you think. It is a really great foundation, especially for the price. I find this really easy to apply, and I find that it wears really well. It doesn't sink in fine lines or pores or anything like that, and I find that it holds back my oils. It's a really great foundation for the price. Just like I said already, the shade selection is not great. We're only like 2 minutes in. I already need a coffee break. I always can feel like my throat's getting really dry from me talking so much. So next up, foundation wise, again, is another full coverage. You can see that I didn't mention any like dewy foundations, but this full coverage foundation is from Maybelline, and it is the Superstay Activewear. This shade is in Warm Nude. I don't think this is my shade at all. It doesn't match me, but I mix in a darkening drop and it works just fine. The shade selection this I found at the time wasn't great. I have since like looked it up, and they have a lot more colors. This has replaced the Superstay in Ireland. I don't know about the rest of the globe, but you cannot get the regular Superstay, you know, had kind of like a pink sticker on it. It's just the Activewear now. It's a really great foundation. I love this. It's very similar to the original Superstay, but I don't find it as like cakey. I used to find that one just a little bit too full coverage. This one will cover, but it still can look a little bit more natural on the skin if you use less product. I really like the Activewear for my skin because it holds back my oils and it still looks really good at the end of the day. And I mix this with like dewier foundations if I want kind of like a hybrid product, especially if I want something that doesn't look too flat or matte, because this can tend to look just a little bit flat because it is like a matte foundation. I really like the consistency of it, and like I said, the longevity of it's great. So I do highly recommend this foundation if you're looking for full coverage foundation and you want something that is super affordable. But I mean, you cannot go wrong with all 3 of these foundations. I thought that they were really great finds for 2021. I enjoy each of them, but I highly rate the Catrice one. It's just such a good foundation. I have a couple of concealers that I really enjoyed. First concealer is not easy to find, so I'm really sorry about that, but it is from Lacura, which is the Aldi range in makeup products, and the reason why it's not easy to find is, again, when they come in they sell out pretty quickly. I've had to get 2 shades, medium and dark, because medium is clearly not very medium, it's very pale, and then dark is obviously too dark for me for a concealer, so I mix both of these to get like my perfect shade. I really like the packaging. It's quite similar to the Tarte Shape Tape. They perform the same, if not better, than the Tarte Shape Tape, and I have not repurchased that product since finding these. I really like them. Like I said, it's unfortunate that they are not in Aldi all the time, and I know that my US followers have said that they don't see Aldi makeup at all, so I don't know if that's in every state in America, but I know in Ireland they bring out makeup quite regularly. Like every fortnight they definitely have some sort of makeup product coming into Aldi. It's just you don't know what it is. Sometimes it's a palette, sometimes it's these concealers, sometimes it's eyeliners, sometimes it's lip liners, sometimes it's bronzers, sometimes it's highlights, so you just don't know exactly what product is coming out. But I reckon that these will be out again some stage in the year, and I'll probably have used them up by the time they come out again. These are really great concealers. They don't crease, and they're really brightening underneath the eye, but not too much. I'm not into that like really stark white under eye anymore. I don't know, I just don't like it as much. I like something that's almost just a shade lighter than my foundation, that just brightens up but isn't too like blindingly bright. These are also just such a great find this year. These are from Revolution and they are the Eye Bright with vitamin C. Got the shade Deep Caramel and I got the shade Medium for underneath the eye. These are very much comparable to the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Away concealer, which I actually really enjoy. And at the time of reviewing these, I hadn't reviewed the Charlotte Tilbury one and I'd said, yeah, I think they're quite similar, like not having actually tested the formula, which is kind of stupid, but I was going on like packaging and the way that they looked. I really like the formula of this, and personally, just for the price, I would probably pick these up quicker because, like I said, they're a little bit more affordable than the Charlotte Tilbury. They come in a huge selection of colours. That's why I found it really hard to actually pick the right shade. So for the contour shade, I need to go a little bit lighter, but I really like the shade Medium for underneath the eye. Okay, the lighting has changed again. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, final concealer I want to talk about is the Skin Lovin' Sensitive Concealer from Essence. This is such a great concealer. I don't understand why it's not talked about more online. It's such a brilliant concealer and really affordable, and I'm not mad about like Essence's concealers. I prefer the concealers from Catrice personally. I just feel like there is a better selection of colours and I just feel like the formula is better, but this is a really great concealer. It's high coverage. It's not too full coverage. I don't like that in concealers because I find they tend to crease a lot more, especially since I'm 32 now. Like my under eye area is not what it used to be, and with the sleep deprivation and everything like that, it just, I don't want a concealer that creases and makes me look older than I am. But this one is a really great formula and it also dries down to a really nice kind of consistency. It makes your under eye area look airbrush. Actually, I should have mentioned that about these ones as well. They do that too. They just make the under eye area look like it's airbrush. I do feel like it has a lot to do with what setting powders you use on top. So I'll talk about the setting powder I use with these. But I do really like the consistency and I love the way it makes your under eye area look once it has set down. I just think they're great concealers, and the Essence one is again like super affordable. I just hope they don't discontinue it because I just feel like it's that type of line that they probably will discontinue, but it is a really great concealer if you're looking for something that covers up the under eye area and is not cakey and blends really well and lasts all day and doesn't go crappy or seep into fine lines. You know, that's a great one. This is an oldie but a goodie and I've rediscovered it this year, so I really wanted to talk about it because it's just been my go-to. It's the RCMA, the original no color powder. I just absolutely love this. There's like no end to this product. I've had this particular tub maybe about 2 years, kind of like forgot about it and it's been sitting in a drawer. I want to say that I retried this around September, October time, and I've just been using nothing but it. It's what's underneath my eye today. It's mostly what I use to set my under eye area, and the fact that it's so affordable is just great. I just have had the same issue with this as I've had all those years ago, is the packaging. So when you open it, like all the powders just like sitting on the top. I know I can change the packaging, but I'm too lazy to find something. But it just sucks. I hate the packaging of it, but the product inside, so good, and great at setting the under eye area anywhere. Really, I use it kind of everywhere because it's no color. The other product that I've been using is from Revolution. I think these are like €3 or €4. It's the matte base powder and I use the shade P1. Like it's literally falling apart because I just use it so often. It's a great setting powder. Absolutely adore this as a setting powder underneath the eye particularly, and I just use it in my T-zone area and just kind of around my nose and stuff just to set those areas, and then I use like a translucent all over the rest of the face if this is the powder I'm picking on the day. But I really like this powder. Again, it's great. Doesn't kind of emphasize any fine lines and it does not make my under eye area look crappy. I'm noticing that with a lot of powders lately because obviously, like I said, I'm getting older. I'm using eye creams and stuff like that, so it's nothing to do with like the hydration level of underneath my eye. It's just to do with how drying some powders and some concealers are. So when I am talking about concealers and powder products for underneath the eye, I'm talking about stuff that does not crease and does not make my eyes look aged or tired or anything like that. I'm only using products that make my under eye area look as smooth as a baby's butt. I don't want anything else in my life. For face powders, I've really enjoyed two. I'm going to talk about the Catrice Poreless Perfecting Powder first. This is in a universal shade. I initially wasn't really sure about this as a powder, but the more I've been using it, the more I've actually been really liking it. I tend to use more loose powders than a pressed powder to set my face, but if I am going with a pressed powder, this is the one that I use. I mostly use pressed powders if I'm kind of blotting an area, not initially to set my face. But I really like this one, and like I said, it's in a universal shade. It's great because it doesn't add extra powderiness to my skin or anything like that. And the other one is from Natural Collection. This is just the really cheapy brand from Boots, and I just really like it. It's in the shade Warm. I love how it just sets my face. It's really inexpensive, and I think this is possibly my second one this year. I think I talked about this product maybe last year as well in a favourites, but if I haven't, I'm mentioning it now, and if I have, I'm mentioning it again. I think it's a really great setting powder. It just sets my face, and again, I use these mostly just to blot, but they're both really great powders and really inexpensive. For bronzers this year, I've been just using my fail-safe ones. I haven't branched out into any other bronzers, so I've no bronzers to talk about, but I have one blush that I really liked this year, and it is the shade Blossom, and it's from Beauty Bay's own makeup line. I really like this. It's very similar to NARS's Orgasm, like almost, if not identical. It's really nice. You can build it up to be really strong, or you can just add a little bit and just get like a nice flush to the cheeks. Is it what's on my cheeks today? I can't remember. I think it is. But it's such a great blush, and it's, like I said, the only one I've been using. You need a really light hand with this, I will say that much, because you can, like I said, build it up to be too intense. It is really nice colour on the cheeks, and I just like that kind of like pinched cheek look. I go through like different phases of blushes. I used to be into like Barbie pink blushes back in the day. Then I went through that kind of like dusty mauvey colours, and then I went to like the more neutral colours like NARS's Madly. Now I'm kind of back into these like brighter cheeks, I guess. Like I said, it can be overkill. You can have clown looking cheeks, so just kind of use these things sparingly. I'm going to move on to brows. There's only two drugstore brow products that I really liked this year. One is from Penny's and one is from XX Revolution. May have talked about this again last year, but I'm just mentioning it again because it is one of my all-time favourite brow products. Just to die for. But the product that I really like is the 3-in-1 from PS. My biggest issue with this is trying to find my perfect shade. I think I've tried every shade this summer, but I landed on the shade Blonde, and that's the one I have in my brows now. I like that fluffy laminated brow look, and this just gives me the perfect colour. So I love the pencil side, and then you also get this little brush through product which I use as well. The only product I don't like in it, because it's a 3-in-1, it has like a powder product in the middle. I just don't really use it. And then I also use the XX Fine Brow. I use, again, really light shade. What shade is it in? Soft brown. So this is absolutely gorgeous. I used to use that to fill in anything that I can't get from the bigger brow pencil, and I just use this as well, the spoolie on that, just to brush through the product. This is a great brow product. I think it's like €6. I get it off Beauty Bay. I will literally buy 4 of these at a time. I don't find that this wears down as quick as the Catrice one, because I was all about the Catrice one for affordable brow products, but it just wastes away so quickly. This one you'd get a couple of months out of, whereas the Catrice one you'd have to replace every 2 weeks. I know it's really affordable, but this one's only like €3 more expensive, and you get a lot longer out of it. It's more of a waxy consistency. If you've watched me for any length of time, you guys know I love a brown eyeliner. It's just my favourite colour to wear in the waterline, and the one that I really enjoyed is again from Natural Collection, and it is just a brown eye kohl. I find this lasts really well, and it's that nice consistency that I like as well, and I've gone through a few of these this year. I tend to lose pencils, particularly lip liners, eyeliners. They just, I don't know what happens to them. I put them in a makeup bag, and then when I go to look at the makeup bag for them, they're just gone. They disappear. Where did they go? It's like the other sock in the washing machine. I don't know what happens, but it's a really great brown eyeliner for the waterline. For mascara, I love the Maybelline The False Lash Effect. I feel like this year was the year of the Sky High mascara from Maybelline. Everybody talked about it. I tried it on my YouTube here, and I just saw it trending on TikTok so much that I just had to get it, but I didn't really love it that much. Like, it was okay, it just wasn't like as remarkable as everyone was making out. It made my lashes look really long, but kind of a little bit spindly, and it's just not what I'm about. Whereas I prefer something like this that just makes my lashes look really thick and elongates them. This is a great mascara, definitely better than the Sky High. I highly recommend this mascara. I prefer the wand. and I just like the way it just applied. The other mascara that I really enjoyed as well is from Catrice. This is the Lift Up mascara. Now what happened to me is really unfortunate. I'm sure this is just a problem with my bottle, is the stopper actually got stuck way up here, so every time it comes out too much product comes off it and I have to like scrape the sides, which is just not really fun. But the mascara is so good that I don't know, I put up with it. I have to actually throw this one out. Like I've had this one on the go maybe about 2 and a bit months, so it's probably time that I just get a new one. But these two Drugstore mascaras been my fail-safe this year. Really like them, and the price point is great for both of these. So if you are looking for a new mascara, there you go. You guys know that I do a separate video all on my palettes, which I will talk about. I want to talk about this eyeshadow. I have mentioned this before possibly. This is from, again, Natural Collection, and I used this last year. It's in the shade Rose Quartz. So I'm wearing it on my lid today. I just absolutely adore it. This is my second one. I absolutely love this eyeshadow, and I really like the formula of it. You think because it's like €2 an eyeshadow it's not going to be that great formulated, but I find this just to be on par with some of my Sigma palettes or my Urban Decay palettes. I think it's a really great shade. Like, it's absolutely gorgeous and it lasts really long, and it's just that gorgeous taupey purpley shade. It's really easy to wear. Like, sometimes I just put this all on the lid and just a little bit of black liner and you're good to go. I just really like it, and I'm gone to the stage now where I'm like, quick easy makeup is my go-to. I don't have time to be faffing about with like 10,000 shades anymore, as sad as that might seem. I just don't. And then this liquid shadow duo, which I don't know if this is discontinued. I just haven't seen it in a while. It's from Pennies again, and it has a matte end and a metallic end. I know this is a dupe for the Huda Beauty, their liquid eyeshadows, but I can't remember what shade because obviously it doesn't say the shade in it. So one side is like a really nice matte pink. This is really nice in the summertime. I have a Beauty Bay pastel eyeshadow palette, so I used to apply this all over the lid. This is really pale pink, and then use the matte pale pink from that Beauty Bay pastel palette, and then I would apply this to the inner corner, but it's like a shimmery shade, and I just think that the combination of these was really nice. So I use that mostly during the summer just because it is like a pastels, and I just really enjoyed that. I really like the consistency of it, and I wish I picked up more because obviously I've been into Pennies a few times since buying that, and I just haven't seen any other ones because I know there was like a blue one, there was like a coppery shade one, and there was like a lovely forest green one. So if I see any more of them I will be picking them up because they're really great, like little duos, and they were only like €1 or €2. But they performed really well for the price. And finally, I'm going to move on to lips. I have a ton of lip products here that I want to talk about. I feel like lip glosses have made a comeback big time this year, and I'm just going to talk about two that I've loved. The Lifter Gloss from Maybelline. These are very similar to the Gloss Bombs from Fenty Beauty. This particular one is a dupe for Fussy, so I will, like I said, link down the actual shade below, but these are great. They just make your lips look really luscious and full. And talk about a blast from the past. The NYX Butter Lip Glosses definitely making a comeback. I feel like these are probably one of the biggest comebacks of 2021. They were everywhere. I mean, you could not go onto TikTok or Instagram without seeing these. Loads of people were talking about them. I have a few in my collection because I kind of just repurchased them. They would be my go-to lip glosses, but I did not have this shade, the Madeline, and I just really love the color of this. Actually, I'm just gonna apply some more now. I've had it on my lips all day today. I'm actually running low on this because I've used it up. They just smell so good. I really love the consistency of these butter lip glosses. Creme Brulee is still my all-time favorite one, and I have that in my collection. I just love it so much. I will always repurchase that. But if you want a new one, definitely try Madeline. It's a really nice color. I have so many lip liners here in front of me, 4 to be exact. The favorite lip liner of this year, I mean, by far, I've purchased 2 of these now. It's very unlike me to go through a whole entire lip liner, but it's in the shade Nude Truffle, and it's what's on my lips today. It's from NYX. It is such a gorgeous shade. I don't know what it is about it. I have nothing even similar to it on my collection. It's this gorgeous brown nude shade, but it makes my lips look fuller and just like really nice and plump. I don't know what, like I said, it is about the shade. I just love it so much. It's an incredibly easy lip liner to apply. It just slides on and it lasts all day. I've had at least 10 different shades of these lip liners over the years, but this is by far my favorite one that I will continue to use for years to come and repurchase, and it's replaced like some of my MAC lip liners. I just love it that much. The next lip liner is from Barry M, and this is in the shade Toast. I think again this is quite similar to Nude Truffle. It's just a little bit warmer. I will do up closes of these, but it's just a tiny bit warmer. It is a really gorgeous shade on the lips. Another NYX lip liner I have here is the shade Need Me. These are the slide on glide on lip liners, and I used to love nude suede shoes, but this has probably replaced that from this line. I just love this. More of a like a mauvey brown than the previous two shades that I talked about. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, I just really like it. It's just really nice on the lips. I'm not as mad about the formula of the slide on glide on lip liners from NYX as I am from like the basic pencil ones. I just feel like these are a little bit more creamier and they tend to slip a little bit more in the lips. They do last, but they're not as long lasting as the pencil, but I just really like this shade. And then the last lip liner is from Catrice. This is the Plumping lip liner, and the shade of this is Understated Chic, the lightest of the four that I've talked about, but again it's quite similar to, I'd say, Toast from Barry M. It's just like a shade down, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like the same undertone and stuff. These are really great, these Plumping lip liners. Don't know, do they actually plump? But they feel really nice on the lips, and I just really like the Catrice formula of lip liners. Again, they're quite long lasting. When it came to lipsticks from the drugstore this year, I wasn't using anything different than I normally use, like my normal Catrice and Essence ones that I've talked about for years, so I didn't want to throw them in just for the sake of it. That kind of rounds up all of my drugstore favourites for 2021. There's actually a lot more in it than I thought there was. I was like, ah, sure, I barely have used any makeup this year. I have nothing to really talk about, and in fact I had a lot of products to talk about. So guys, I would love to hear what your drugstore favorites were of the year. If there's any products that you think that I missed from 2021, because I'm sure I did with baby brain and just snapping with it in general, let me know and I will definitely give them a go this year, and I'll do some reviews on them. Like if there's any palettes or foundations or concealers, or I don't know, what's something you want to see me review, let me know and I will do that. And I will talk to all you guys in my next video, which is going to be my high-end favorites, so stay tuned for that. I love you guys so much. It's great to be back, and I'll talk to you later. Mwah! Bye guys!